As another chapter comes to an end, the world-spanning tapestry that is the tale of the Sandman will live on in our memories and on our bookshelves. Join us as we revisit the timeless epic.
In December 1988, the Sandman kicked off an incredible journey with Volume 1, Preludes and Nocturnes. After 80 years of captivity, Dream escapes and begins his quest to rebuild his realm by seeking to regain his totems of power. Along the way, we meet Dream's exiled ex-lover, Nada, Lucifer, mystical heroes of the DCU, and Dream's elder sister, Death.
In Volume 2, The Doll's House, Morpheus moves into the background as the world expands, introducing the rest of his siblings: Desire, Destruction, Delirium, Despair, and Destiny, known collectively as the Endless, as well as the terrifying nightmare of Dream's creation known as the Corinthian. With unforgettable scenes like the serial killer convention, Gaiman's story travels into darker and more mature territory.
Volume 3, Dream Country, takes a departure from the multi-issue arcs with 4 unique, standalone stories that ask questions such as, when is immortality no longer a gift? How does a cat view mankind? And what happens when a novelist enslaves a muse to feed his need for material? But it was the tale of the first performance of William Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream that won Neil Gaiman and artist Charles Vess the 1991 World Fantasy Award for Best Short Story. This was the first time a comic book won the Prose Fiction Award, and as Neil notes, they changed the rules the next morning to make sure it could never happen again.
Volume 4, Season of Mists, is, according to Neil Gaiman himself, the quintessential Sandman story. Morpheus descends again into the circles of hell to correct an injustice he committed in his brash youth. But when he arrives, he finds Lucifer has resigned his post and left him with the unenviable task of finding his replacement.
In Volume 5, A Game of You, cracks appear between the waking world and Morpheus's realm, and a group of young New Yorkers are pulled into the dreaming. This progressive story arc brings gender and identity issues to the forefront, in part by introducing Wanda, a heroic trans woman willing to give the ultimate sacrifice for her friends.
Volume 6, Fables and Reflections, flexes the anthology muscle once again with 9 distinct and remarkable tales of the Lord of Dreams throughout history. Kings and actors, babies and werewolves all get their turn in the spotlight, and the wonderfully diverse stories invite an impressive variety of artists into the pages of The Sandman.
Volume 7, Brief Lives, follows Dream and his sister Delirium as they search for their missing brother, Destruction. Brief Lives also brings Morpheus' painful relationship with his son to a dramatic end. Along the way, The Sandman number 47 became the first book to bear the Vertigo logo.
Volume 8, World's End, is especially fun. This classic Sandman run is set entirely in a mysterious inn that appears for weary groups of travelers from throughout time, myth, and imagination. As the storm rages outside, they share stories that cannot be believed, even if they are true. But this is just the drizzle before the downpour as the Sandman series begins its final act.
Volume 9, The Kindly Ones, is literally the end of Morpheus. In a tragic twist of events, unrelenting agents of vengeance called the Furies seek to punish Dream once and for all. Illustrated by Mark Hempel, this story arc is one of the strangest and most unconventional of all the Sandman storylines, and well worth the read.
Volume 10, The Wake, is all about catharsis as we attend the wake for the Lord of Dreams. Ancient gods, old friends, and enemies all pay tribute to the fallen Morpheus. This final storyline is illustrated entirely in pencil by Michael Zulli and is the first uninked storyline ever published by DC or Vertigo. And in the bittersweet final chapter of the original series, illustrated by frequent Gaiman collaborator Charles Vess, an aging William Shakespeare fulfills one last obligation to the Sandman.
The Dream Hunters novella is a standalone story about a love affair between a Buddhist monk and a fox spirit. The captivating book, illustrated by Yoshitaka Amano, was nominated for a Hugo Award. It was later reimagined into a comic book by P. Craig Russell.
Endless Nights is composed of 7 separate chapters, each devoted to a different member of the Endless family. This graphic novel united Neil with 7 internationally acclaimed artists and marked the first time an American comic book publisher earned a spot on the New York Times bestseller list.
The Sandman Overture is the most recent entry in the Sandman canon. The story spans from the birth of a galaxy to the moment that Morpheus is captured at the beginning of Preludes and Nocturnes. It's brought to life in epic widescreen luminosity by Eisner Award-winning artist J.H. Williams III and colorist Dave Stewart. And though it is a prequel, it's meant to be read after the rest of the Sandman catalog. A fitting end for this story.
The Sandman is the most acclaimed and award-winning comic series of the 1990s, and for good reason. It is a smart and brooding epic, elegantly penned by Neil Gaiman and illustrated by a rotating cast of comics' most sought-after artists. The saga of the Sandman is unique in graphic literature and is a story you will never forget.